notice of every single part of it, the marrow and the cartilage, the ending and the start of it. I do it for the art of it, put my sweat and my heart in it, cultivate it and I garden it. I share it and I ward in it, keep it honest so I never have to pardon it. The people, how they marvel it, solid like a marble, it's wonderful and marvelous, beautiful and barbarous, beat addicts anonymous, original isonymous, primal flow. You can call me optimist, it's supersonic, hypnotic, philosophic, descent Teutonic. It's not bubonic, we sipping Prophet's tonic. A splash of bourbon on it, that Maison Rouge is brolic, that Alhambra Masonic. You think it's alcoholic, but this is future logic. Algorithmic beyond it, minimize the negs and you maximize deposit. Tivoli on the shits like I got the beat in pocket. And who want talk it, we in that rocket bracket. Real champions, nothing can stop it. That ball is rolling, looks to me that ship is going. Ain't no mooring, that ship is foreign, my ship is soaring. Take notice, I'm on a flight tonight, excite no boring. Excite no taxes forum. All year long talking, this is not the forum, the proper venue. And may I lend you a tissue for your tears as the media invents another issue for your fears. My truth is like my magnet, I approach it as it nears. To get the angle right, I use another couple mirrors. Take notice, breathe deep and let it go. It came fluently, minus the shine and the jewelry. I realign to the truest me. Turpin the time, make a fool of we. I stay focused and take notice. Hold a thought as I contemplate the cruelty. Carry no baggage, duty free. Cleared my thoughts, made it plain, no truancy. In a language that ain't new to me. Recently I grew to see that we have been convinced to demonize the wise and represent the foolery in this new era time. Same tree, new cherry. Fourth and fifth, our moves are legendary for a fact. We're not goons, we're emissaries, whether we're moving with tools or schedularies in tune. Whether June or February, batteries not included, assembly necessary in the meeting place, closer than your capillary, with no black blood, cause black means dull and dreary. Sweetness of the juices, of darknesses of the berry, copper tone, burgundy, brown skin beauties, keep shining on them, explosive incendiary. Take notice. Take notice while I mold the medley. Hold tight as I rock it steady. Ooh, long, now that's a light bevy. The clouds part when the night's ready. And truth speaks when the heart's empty. A full belly and a goal make a man deadly. God body made of gold so they can't tempt me. I think of what the left did when the right kept me. The biggest foes in the rows will be mad friendly. Rise up too quick, get mad bendy. True land gentry, dispossessed in a mad frenzy. Always question the last entry. Walk softly and land gently. But if you're backed into a corner, drop the world on them. Unleash, unfurl on them. Go beast, go Earl on them. Go ham, go Canaanite. It's tough love, call me Amorite. Take notice, all ye Moors and sundry. Reform and regroup like Gumby. I'd say we're fortunate, not lucky. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, family, trust me. Happiest man alive, I take my joy on the run. Original man, I take my food from the sun. Keep it phonetic, cause I'm still having fun. And we'll still be at the top when it's done. And it's a must-we, till the think tank, till the needle breaks off. And keep giving thanks till you scream your face off. Take notice.
You have to unarm the next one too. Did you unarm the other one? Good. Stand off, take 10 paces when doing handoffs in the open, no bare faces, mere traces. Rare places that know we're about a status. I mean status. What's the stasis? We out Stratus. Mr. Universe, code name Tony Atlas. I was gifted with this. Why you talking about practice? Really? You talking about practice? You a thespian. acting like an actress. You a lesbian, type back on the mattress. Christian, Protestant, Anglican, Baptist, Pentecostal, Lutheran, all Catholic. Ancients have returned, truth is in. Stop the slackers, they do anything and everything to get you off your axis. A time to move forward, a time to wait, a time to love, a time to hate, a time to hug, a time to refrain from embrace, a time to smile, time for seriousness on the face, a time to be on point, a time to make mistakes, a time to be small, a time to be great. This race ain't for the swift, but who could endure with this paradigm shift? I'm glad to be a more strong, devour, weak, rich, prey on the poor. If you find this cause you're seeking DNA, it's all stored. This race ain't for the swift, but who could endure with this paradigm shift? I'm glad to be a more strong, devour, weak, rich, prey on the poor. If you find this cause you're seeking DNA, it's all stored. Time to preserve life, a time to kill, a time to act hype, a time to chill, a time to do what's right, Allah's will, a time to make lower self take you on some thrills, a time to reach heights, a time for depths, times when you speak, times quiet is kept, a time to stay awake, actually we never slept, time to get resuscitated, time for losing your breath, a time to pass, a time to resurrect, sun sets, then it rises. I know it sounds complex, still no surprises. Try grasp the concepts. Open your eyelids, change your literature to change your mind. That's what I did. You on the fence, undecided? Take time, don't worry, she provided. It's delicate when ideologies colliding. This race ain't for the swift, but who could endure with this paradigm shift? I'm glad to be a more strong, devour, weak, rich, prey on the poor. If you find this cause you're seeking DNA, it's all stored.
Watch for democracies, hypocrisy, philosophies, fear and shock factories, pseudo-court mockeries and poppy fields, blocking swinging chops without Moroccan shields, industry the mind for a person spokes and stopping wheels, coffin fields empty, buried in the battlefields, working on the streets is walking in some cattle fields, King Alfred Gruesome, lover mental snoozing, sleepwalking and talking, cell phones are soothing, minds disappearing, genetic memory erasing, don't even have a job but they get you for tax evasion, hot like a frying pan, crying fam lion men, use gadgets, firemen, no loyalty, just buying friends. No credit, debt slaves, walking over paved graves. Enslaved, enraged, marriage to death, prearranged. Invasion. Watch for democracies, hypocrisy, philosophies, fear and shock factories, pseudo-court mockeries and poppy fields, blocking swinging chops without Moroccan shields, industry the mind for a person spokes and stopping wheels, coffin fields empty, buried in the battlefields, working on the streets is walking in some cattle fields, King Alfred Gruesome, lover mental snoozing, sleepwalking and talking, cell phones are soothing, minds disappearing, genetic memory erasing, don't even have a job but they get you for tax evasion, hot like a frying pan, crying fam lion men, use gadgets, firemen, no loyalty, just buying friends. No credit, debt slaves, walking over paved graves. Enslaved, enraged, marriage to death, prearranged. Mike Sufi Genie, bomb tracks bikini. Stupid niggas call my feds bucket hat when they see me, but won't ask a thing or drink the water that I bring. But when the Pope comes, they kissing on the ring. They rather drink a rapper's flow from the black fountain. Pied Piper got the dead lined up in the thousands. Confusion with illusions, infusion with sorcery. Won't give up my birthright no matter what they offer me. No deal. Push the red button, I'm going home. Close my eyes with Yasanel and Vendome. The fire that we put on roll, make their walls shake. Islamism grand chic, not spelled like shake. Open minds, not sky on when you enter my zone. I wouldn't call it murder when I snap the neck of my clone. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Peter's face for Carter, no making me a martyr. Third eye and larger, aura is my armor. When I plant a seed in my soil, rhyme farmer. Use the alma rap sorta like an almanac. Keep listening to sleepless hip-hop insomniac. Moorish MC, call me that acquiesce, don't call back, just fall back. Any rapper after 95, all whack. Their flow just trickles like drops on icicles. Rappers need training wheels on their rhymesicles. Keep people's mind pickled in a lost realm. When it comes to Moorish MCs, I'm at the helm. Invasion.
Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Repeaters face the charter. There's no making me a martyr. It can learn I am larger. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor.
Invasion.
Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. Repeaters face the charter. There's no making me a martyr. It can learn I am larger. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor.
Invasion.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Saute, flipping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no but all in plain sight.
Made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Saute, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no but all in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for light, the book of Genesis. Astral plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life. Finish him.
Morris Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Fact slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brain waves. Squash my heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis. Niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. Gay or feminists. Stomped on by elephants. More like we're prejudiced but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the pole magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book all maleficent. Great cosmic mothers. Return to blessedness. No pestilence. Ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance. Never to forget again. Use energy right. Not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no veil of shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions. Too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence. Burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars. It might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
I don't need another individual.
That's a citation, correct?
Okay.
That's not
All right. All right. So what do you want to do about your case today?
Prove jurisdiction to me.
I don't have to prove jurisdiction
Yes,
to
you
you.
do. In
All
law,
right.
it
I'm going to
says
prove
that-
jurisdiction to you right now. I'm going to ask the deputy to go ahead and take you into custody.
Under what charges?
Under
what charges?
you are disrupting. Okay.
That's not
All right. All right. So what do you want to do about your case today?
Prove jurisdiction to me.
So right there, in a civilized society, The judge is going to go call recess. He's going to go down to the wherever he has to go to. He's going to go get his jurisdiction papers to prove that he has jurisdiction. And it shouldn't be any issue because you're a judge. If you're a judge, just go get the papers. Prove you got jurisdiction. Oh, we got jurisdiction right here. Here's a paper saying that we got jurisdiction. Signed by the president or whatever the hell it got to be signed by so that they can make their claim. They didn't go down and get anything from the vault or whatever like that. They kidnapped somebody. No due process of law whatsoever. Because as soon as jurisdiction is challenged, court has to stop. There's no proceedings. Why? Because jurisdiction got challenged. That's just a rule of law. If jurisdiction is challenged, then they need to prove their jurisdiction. And then when they prove jurisdiction, they got to prove personam jurisdiction. They got to prove subject matter jurisdiction. They might even have to prove territorial jurisdiction. Because we really don't know who these people are, really. Right? Because you're just walking on the street, some guy runs up on you, tell you that, well, you shouldn't have crossed when the light was red and all that. And then tell him you come to this building. And then we're either going to give you 500 years or you do something to stop us from giving you 500 years. And then you're not going to go run to go get a lawyer, or you're not going to go run to talk to somebody or whatever. It's common knowledge that jurisdiction could be challenged at any time. Supreme Court rule on that. It's common knowledge that at any time, anybody could challenge the jurisdiction of the court. That's not what Moors say. So the question the people have to be asking is, well, why didn't they prove jurisdiction? Not, oh my God, that Moor stuff doesn't work and all that. No, you're not going there because that's incompetence. That's belief. That's not fact. And if something's common knowledge, it's probably more than likely what it is. If it's common knowledge that that guy raped that little girl, that guy can't come outside. Because everybody agrees that that's the guy. And as soon as they see him around somebody that's of his age, they're going to press up on him. Forget him being with some children. Because it's common knowledge. So it's common knowledge that jurisdiction... You know when Mr. Chin, when the nigger came in the store or whatever like that, and Mr. Chin has to go to court and all that stuff or whatever, right? Is Mr. Chin there? No, he's not there because he hired a lawyer. They're going to go do it for him. What's the black guy do? Black guy's going to go hire a lawyer and get railroaded. Have to do 500 years because he crossed on a red light. And then they always say, well, why do you cross at the red light? How about the people who, how about they didn't prove jurisdiction to give him 500 years? How about that part? You're not going to go there? How come you're not going to go there? I thought you're supposed to be against the white man and all that stuff. The white man's putting this brother inside for what? I don't even care what he did. Jurisdiction got challenged. So it's the obligation of the court to prove the jurisdiction because it's challenged. Because you're a court. Why wouldn't you show me the thing? Why would this guy say, prove jurisdiction? Okay, well, my jurisdiction is bounty man, grab them and get them out of here. Doesn't that mean that they're trying to shut that individual up? Because obviously it looks like court's full, right? Not some empty stuff. So let's just say this was a civilized society. right? And he went up there and said, I challenge the jurisdiction of the court. And the judge said, oh, well, this is a court of whatever, founded in whenever. We don't have jurisdiction, case dismissed. Or call up whoever, call a recess, call up whoever you got to call, get them to fax over the thing. Get them to fax you over the thing that's going to say that they have jurisdiction. It's a rule of law. It's not opinion. The problem is you haven't been dealing with courts for however long you thought that. And you thought once they got this little setup with the guy there and then that guy there and then the lady and she's typing fast and all that stuff and the guy at the door and they're bringing people from the basement. That doesn't mean that's a court. Matter of fact, it sounds more like an auction block to me than it sounds like it's a court. We're not even there for that today. We're here to tell you, to show you that the ripple effects have reached certain places that you people are so dumb you can't even see it. And you're getting caught up in BS. About more stuff doesn't work. What do you mean more stuff doesn't work? Does Chinese stuff work? Does Hindustani stuff work? Ceylonese? Senegalese? Does their stuff work? Or are you going to them and debating them about why they call themselves Senegalese? You're not debating them? How come you just go on what they say when more start talking? You know, I question everything. You didn't question that Nigerian before he sold you whatever they sold you. You didn't question the Asian guy he's selling you bootleg DVDs and all that. Just took them DVDs, right? As soon as the more started, well, where did you get this from? And what? Well, could you prove that? Please.
I don't have to prove jurisdiction to you. All right. I'm going to prove jurisdiction to you right now. I'm going to ask the deputy to go ahead and take you into custody.
Under what charges?
Under
what charges?
you are disrupting.
It's your boy Organized. This is Cheers with Organized. And I'm back at y'all again with another video topic. We talking 42 Doug and his sovereign citizen gibberish that he used as a defense as to why he wasn't going to turn himself in. Now, I've been hearing this sovereign citizen shit for a long time. And I think that it's a good idea to go ahead and, dispel that myth. Simply put, man, if you were born in the United States, if you pay taxes in the United States, you send your kids to school in the United States, you take out student loans in the United States, you get a tax refund in the United States, all of this shit, you are not no damn sovereign citizen. Let's just cut to the chase and just say that, man. You done had people over the years that develop different strategies to try to rationalize not facing the consequences of their actions when they get into a jam.
We just want to open your mind to some things. Just want to open your mind to some things so you can know that majority of people, they don't know what they're talking about. Majority of your people who you think are there for your salvation and whatever like that, majority of them are mental slaves. Majority of them are mental slaves. So they're going to go along with the program of keep you dumb nigger, opposed to you being Moors again. And it's okay. We already know what it is. That's why we're Moors. And we haven't budged from being Moors. And we haven't swayed. And we haven't ducked. And you could see us at the building every Sunday, except last Sunday. Honors to all the mothers out there. And happy Mother's Day today. Again, just so you know, it's not just one day. Right? Just so you know, that's not one day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I can't remember where I was going. Honest to the mothers for distracting the rant. Get back to this thing.
This sovereign citizen shit is really some jailhouse babble. That niggas with too much time on their hands, niggas that's doing life 20, 30 years. This is the type of shit that they sit in close quarters with each other and think about. You know what I mean? They read the law books and shit like that. And because they don't have degrees in law and shit like that, they misinterpret some of the shit that they reading. And now you got niggas running around here thinking that they sovereign citizens. And 42 Dub apparently is one of those individuals.
42 Dub saw what was up. And he must have went and get some studies or whatever like that. Because if he's a brother, more than likely you found out about his Moorish nationality. If he's a European, you could probably say some sovereign whatever BS. But if it's a Moor, if it's somebody who's dark-skinned, then that means they're a Moor. If it's somebody modern European, those are the sovereign citizens. The sovereign citizens aren't on our side. That's not our tag. We're the Moorish, whatever. Whatever they're going to make up and say that they're the Moorish, whatever, consulate, Moorish, whatever. There's going to be Moorish on it. Whether it's the fraud, whether it's the righteous people, Moorish is going to be there. The sovereign citizen thing, that was a European thing. That was a pale people thing. That had absolutely nothing to do with us because we were on the Moorish thing. And they never called us Moorish sovereign citizens until recently. They never called Moors sovereign citizens. Sovereign citizens existed at the same time that Moors existed, but no one ever related Moors to sovereign citizen until recently. So when people try to pull that thing of some black guy was out there and then he was doing some sovereign citizen, whatever, that's a front. He found out about his Moorish nationality. They're saying sovereign citizen because if they tell you he found out about Moors, then that'll wake you up the game. Just like why the judge kidnapped them because court's full. You don't want them releasing the stuff to these people for them to come up here next talking about I challenge jurisdiction of the court. And everybody comes up and does that? What do you think's gonna happen? If judge did what he was supposed to do, will you challenge jurisdiction of the court? I don't have my delegation of authority order here. You know what? The court dismissed. If judge is smart, he'd dismiss everybody's stuff that day. If judge really on game. As far as not wanting to deal with Moors and Moorish perspectives. Because that's really what's going to cramp these people. And for the record, as Moors, we know that saying sovereign citizen is as saying black, saying orange people, saying, polka dot people, striped people. That's what saying sovereign citizen is like. Just so you know. Don't think that because we're saying sovereign citizen, that means that's a real word or that's not a real thing. We're saying that for you dumb people who think that that's a real thing. So we're going to say sovereign citizen, but we're going to separate it so you know that When you hear sovereign citizen in the news or whoever talking about that, and they show somebody who looks like a brother, they were practicing some moorish whatever. Don't let them fool you that these brothers were doing some sovereign citizen thing. No, they weren't. They found out about the moorish part of it. Whether it was from dirty people, whether from righteous people, they found out about the moorish idea. And they were resonating on that. And when you hear sovereign citizen, that was only applied to modern Europeans who were jumping out the cars with guns, shooting at people because they got constitutional right to bear arms and all this. And had absolutely nothing to do with our people. Zero. Until recently. Now there is sovereignty. There is sovereignty. There is such a thing, sovereignty. But a sovereign citizen, that's not real. That doesn't exist. As soon as somebody says that, know that that's an operative. Because only operatives use those terms. Those are not terms that are applied to Moors. It never has been a term applied to Moors until recently. There is sovereignty. What is sovereignty? The possession of sovereign power, supreme political authority, paramount control of the Constitution and frame of government and its administration, the self-sufficient source of political power from which all specific political powers are derived, the international independence of a state, combined with the right and power of regulating its internal affairs without foreign dictation. Also, a political society or state which is sovereign and independent. American Declaration 123. The freedom of the nation has its correlate in the sovereignty of the nation. Political sovereignty is the assertion of the self-determinate will of the organic people. And in this, there is the manifestation of its freedom. It is in and through the determination of its sovereignty that the order of the nation is constituted and maintained. If a determinate human superior, not in a habit of obedience to a like superior, receive habitual obedience from the bulk of a given society, that determined superior is sovereign in that society. And the society, including the superior, is a society political and independent. The possession of sovereign power. Drali, he's an heir to the vast estate. Because Henry Turner is his uncle. Because they're Washita. And Washita are, quote unquote, black Indians. Drew Ali, being an international student, you can just study black Indian stuff only, realize there's something vaster than Turtle Island. They're talking about estate 68,000 acres in some North America only. He saw that we were tied to the world when he did his studies. And that's the power. The idea that the sovereignty is in possession. What Drew Ali do? The greatness of Drew Ali is that he made you beneficiary to the sovereignty. All you got to do is declare and proclaim your nationality, that you're Moors. Supreme political authority. Paramount control of the Constitution and frame of government and its administration. Then you can go to RVB and then they give you the administrative handbook. And so everything you got to do once you have a body, all the duties everybody's got to do, there's not even, stuff is not even hidden. Constitution, divine constitution and bylaws, that's ours. That's not somebody else's stuff. They made that up. Drew Ali brought that. Zodiac constitution, CMB brought that. Matter of fact, speaking about the sovereignty, you might as well go there right now. And let's just talk about this thing they said about the Constitution. The Zodiac Constitution by CMB. Library of Congress. So this is not debatable. You want to debate something, go to talk to the Library of Congress. Article 1. The 12 signs of the Zodiac, the code of mathematics scaling from 0 to 9, and the science of geometry comprise the constitution of the living Moorish nation of North America, referred to as Negroes, who ruled the world and the 7 seas by the 12 signs of the Zodiac and the science of geometry for 1196 years, to the Amazon Dutch German Catholic priesthood fathers of the Revolution of 1789 and the Sisterhood Magna Carta Emancipation Proclamation Union Society of White Supremacy in 1863 North America. The 12 jurymen of the 50 Union States Society and also the 9 judges of the Supreme Court were founded upon the Moorish nation's 12 signs of the Zodiac Constitution and mathematics, scaling from 0 to 9. Thus, without our Moorish Constitution, the Magna Carta, Emancipation Proclamation, Union Society of the myth of white supremacy definitely could have been found in 1863. So if it wasn't for us, there'd be no them. Zodiac Constitution, birthrights of Moorish American, the Bays and L's, Article 2. Since the 12 jurymen of the 50 Union States Magna Carta document of white supremacy and the 9 judges of their Supreme Court were founded upon our Moorish Zodiac 12 signs mathematical constitution, the lawmakers have no jurisdiction over the free Moors, the L's, the Bays, in the inherited land of the Moorish nation, namely USA, Canada, Central, and South America. The Moorish American nationality and their surnames, Bay and L, are their inherited birthrights, without a legal due process of the lawmakers of the Union Society USA. What our Moorish forefathers were, we are today without doubt or contradiction, namely Moorish. You talk about the ish, because the ish, and then makes it an adjective. You didn't talk about all that. Just Moorish. That's Library of Congress. Don't debate Moors. They don't have jurisdiction. Same thing we were saying in the beginning. So if they don't have jurisdiction, automatically they don't have jurisdiction. Right? Let's go back again. The lawmakers whoever they are. The lawmakers have no jurisdiction over the free Moors, the Bays and Els, in the inherited land of the Moorish nation, namely USA, what they call it, so they know he's talking about them. Canada, what they call it, so they know he's talking about them. Central and South America, that they call it, so they know he's talking about them. That you don't have any jurisdiction over the free Moors. Period. But there's too many Moors who want to be Negro black colored. Which is why they just assume jurisdiction over the Moors and kidnap your ass anyways. That's why it's not about playing any games with these people. Because they're not playing. Already violated your ancestors. You think they're about to do to you? You gonna let you slide because you got some papers? Article 3. Tax and military exemption for Moorish Americans, the Bays and Els. The Moors, referred to as Negroes, definitely can never become members and citizens of the Union Society of the 48 States. Now it's 50-something or whatever. So, and that includes Canada. The Union Society, USA, Negroes definitely can never be members and citizens. They can't be members and citizens. What did Drawley tell these Moors? Did he tell these Moors members and citizens? Did he tell them that they have their own stuff? You have some European grand sheiks, I give those to you? Didn't he tell them? You have your own stuff? What the hell are you playing games for? Assassinated him, and then CMB comes later slapping these people again. Do you know you have your own stuff? What are you guys doing? Are you playing church with the Moorish movement? When you have power to make law, enforce law, you ain't making no laws? So what do you do with this 360-degree stuff? Put some laws in the Library of Congress for the Moors. Because these traitors took what Noble Drew Ali did and went to play church with it, went to play black Muslim with it, went to play Hebrew Israelite with it, went to play all these different groups or whatever like that, go back to Africa, Liberia, BS, all of that stuff came out of Moors. Because of Noble Drew Ali passing and them not studying, they gave up on the movement and turned to some BS. And the stuff was so low, is why you have Zodiac Constitution right now. This is how low they took this stuff. And it ain't nothing, you know, Drew Ali prophesied these Moors are going to take this stuff. You wouldn't even know that there was Moorish anything. And how they got it today? They don't know jack. They have no idea about their nationality and birthrights. Empty Drew Ali told them it's going to happen. Therefore, they cannot be forced or drafted into the Union, USA Army, or military service to fight for the Magna Carta Code of the white supremacy against themselves. And what happened? Didn't they get Moors? And then made them work for them to fight for the Magna Carta Code of white supremacy all over the world? And probably, you know, really did it? And some of them, they just, you know, they ain't do jack. But they're still part of the infrastructure. They didn't even drop a bomb. Right? And then what happened? Then they get knowledge of self or whatever. They realize that, well, it's like, we're Moors and all that stuff. And then they realized all the information that these people gave them, they could now use to help their nation get better or whatever. And then they start doing that. And then what happened? And then these same people who train them are mad that they're using the training that they got to better their community and better their nation. And they say, no, we don't want to do that. Get them out of circulation. You see what happened there? You saw what happened there, right? You realize that, right? Why? Because they realize being part of USA Army or military service to fight for the Magna Carta Code of white supremacy all over the world is really against ourselves. So why don't we take these skills that we got, learning how to camp, and inspire our people to go camping? But that's a threat to the system. Moors going camping. They don't want any of that. They don't want you touching trees again and stuff like that. Start smelling leaves and they don't want you there. They want you concrete all the time. Electronics and concrete. That's all you get. You don't get nature. Right? And then what are we talking about? The law is the 12 Zodiac, which all that includes nature and all of that. And keep in mind that CMB was one of these people who was around Noble Drew Ali, that every one of them was supposed to do what CMB did. Every one of those people who were around Noble Drew Ali was supposed to take what Drew Ali left them and do what CMB did with Zodiac Constitution and all that stuff. That stuff they were supposed to do that stuff with. What they were taught. The lawmakers of the 48 States Union Order cannot force the Moors, the Bays, and the Els to pay taxes because taxation without representation is a supreme violation of the Moorish Zodiac Constitution birthrights of Islam. When the Union lawmakers denounce their immoral Magna Carta Code and resort to the Moorish Zodiac Constitution, the Moors are compelled to pay taxes because everyone of the nation will be equally represented by it. There is no room in the science of Masonry, the Zodiac, for mystic God, religious worship, race, color, ignorance, war, crime, slavery, and human injustice. You got that? When the Union lawmakers denounce their immoral Magna Carta Code, because remember, I told you in the beginning that all that stuff came from us. So if all this stuff came from us, then it's still supposed to be righteous. How come it's all messed up and stuff like that? Oh, because they stopped doing what they're supposed to do and do their own thing. When that's them violating the law. So to get them back on law, what the Union lawmakers have to do is denounce their own code, which means it would fall back into what the ancient code is. If you're not going to go by these modern day codes, but then know that once they denounce the code and resort to what the Moors are doing, now you got to pay your taxes now. And it might be 50%, because we're behind. So this is if you're sovereign, and then you're giving us your authority as government, and we say 50% taxes because we got to get the Moorish nation back up. Where do you think it's coming from? You think it's coming from birth certificate, whatever? No, it's not coming from that. It's coming from, you say that you're Moors? All right. whatever you got, the nation gets 50% right now. Especially all you high level people. Are you high level people? Are you Forbes list people? When their system falls and you have to be Moors, know that the Moors are not compelled to pay taxes to a foreigner. The Moors aren't supposed to be paying taxes to a foreigner. Oh, but with the Moors, you think because you're a Moor, you're going to use your nationality card and not pay taxes to the Moorish business or whatever? Don't get your hand cut off, because remember, it's different law right now. We're going to the European stuff. We're going to capital punishment and stuff like that now. The guillotine's right over there. You see how shiny it is? Because nobody does anything. Everybody's living by the code. Everybody's living by the code. Guillotine shiny. People go up and touch the blade just to, oh, that's sharp. That's taking the head clean off. Head's going to be looking up like, wow, that was guillotine sharp. So don't think that when it gets on the Moor side that, you got free for all. You can just run down the street with no clothes on and all this. No. Slow down. Slow down. Because it's gonna be serious if it's the Moors ruling again. It's not gonna be this BS that you've been used to. You could not pay your fines and all that stuff. You're gonna have some issues if you mess around with the government. Because remember, we tried the old way. That's why they renounced their Magna Carta Code and resorted to the Moorish Zodiac Constitution. All right. So then if that's what's going on, now you have to pay your taxes. Especially if you're a Moor. Now the Europeans can say, no, we don't have to pay them taxes because we're exempt. The Europeans can pull the exemption. 8822-141, you don't represent us. You're not our government. We're ipso jure Moorish subjects. Moors looking around, don't even know what's going on. Wouldn't even know what's going on. Right? When the Union lawmakers denounce their immoral Magna Carta Code and resort to the Moorish Zodiac Constitution, the Moors are compelled to pay taxes because everyone of the nation will be equally represented by it. There is no room in the science of Masonry, the Zodiac, for mystic god religious worship, race, color, ignorance, war, crime, slavery, and human injustice. Isn't that 90% of the problems that the world is facing right now? Isn't that about 90% of the problems? Mystic god religious worship, race, color, ignorance, war, crime, slavery, and human injustice. There is no room for that when we're living by the Moorish Zodiac Constitution. Those things are not going to exist amongst the Asiatics in America if we go by the Moorish Zodiac Constitution. So now the fact that people aren't lining up out the door to be connected to this Moorish Zodiac Constitution, now you got to be wondering what the hell's wrong with these people. Obviously, they have something wrong with them if they got all this stuff in the Library of Congress and they're not going with this. They're going to tell you about some United States Constitution and all that stuff. Quote that as law. Adequate Article 4. adequate employment and protection for Moorish Americans. Every lawmaker, the heads of industry and business enterprise of the 50 States Union Order are obligated members and citizens of the Magna Carta Christian Church and Temple system of the Christ, the King of Jews, meaning jury over the wealth and culture of the living Moorish nation in North America. Let's go again. Let's go again, because we know that you're missing it. Because look where we're at. We're trying to convince you about all this vast greatness that you could just pick up. It's just that easy. But you don't want that. You want to do some other BS. Every lawmaker, if you never looked up every before, look up every lawmaker, the heads of industry and business enterprise, the heads of industry and business enterprise of the 50 States Union Order, right? The Union States Society, the U.S., are obligated members and citizens. Juali called the people in the temple members, and he's talked about citizenship. Did he not? He spoke about this. There, also in that same practice, their members and their citizens of the Magna Carta Christian Church and Temple system of Christ, the King of Jews. Meaning, jury over the wealth and culture of the living Moorish nation of North America. The system of Christ and King of Jews is the jury over the wealth and culture of your estate. I think they always want you to go Christian. I think they always want you to go into the houses of worship. And then there's a Christ. And then... Because that's not what that is. It's a system. It's an energy system. To jack your wealth and culture. Because the people without a knowledge of his culture is like a tree without roots, said the forerunner. And that's their game. Steal your wealth, which is your energy, and hijack your culture. Right? Not the wealth and culture of the dead Moorish nation. You know, because people talk about 1492 conquering of the Moors and all this as if, you know, you flick a hair off your hand. That means you cured yourself of something. Minusculities. Your wealth and culture is what they're feeding off to control you. Beating you with your own kryptonite. Like a dumbass. you should automatically know they're going to use your kryptonite against you. Therefore, by the Moorish Zodiac Constitution, the Moors, the Bays and Els can demand adequate employment, food, clothing, shelter, medical care, equal rights, respect and protection from mob violence, rape, and injustices, otherwise without being obligated to the Union Church and religious system of the Order Christ, the white sun idol god. So once they renounce their stuff and the Moorish is restored, now not only are the Moors obligated to not pay taxes to them anymore, but now, because they're the actual heirs of the estate, everything that is on it belongs to the people. That's why you can demand adequate employment, food, clothing, shelter, medical care, equal rights, respect, and protection from mob violence, rape, and injustices. Well, of course, you can't do that now because, your people want to be Negroes. And you have an obligation to wake them up. And then you're going to wake them up telling them that they're Hebrew. And telling them that they're ancient Egyptian and they got to be Egyptian and go back to the pyramids to see stuff and all that. Mess people up. The only thing that we can do is be Bays and Els. You can't be anything other than Moors. There's no other options. Zero options. All the options that you see, other than proclaiming your nationality as Moors, is imaginary. You're hallucinating. Put down the weed. You're hallucinating. Article 5. Immoral marriage license code against the Zodiac law of nature. Truth is no apology nor doctrine because it is the supreme mental doctor itself for the entire human family, woman and man. Truth is the supreme mental doctor itself for the entire human family, woman and man. The entire. Thus, the truth is the sisterhood, Christian daughters of the American Revolution, established the marriage license states right code to prevent the Moorish men and women from marrying into their Magna Carta society of white supremacy. The marriage license states right code is Daughters of the American Revolution. That's what it is. That's why it's an immoral marriage license, because the Daughters of the American Revolution's duty was to make sure that the Moabite mother doesn't make it. And then when she doesn't make it, then the son's not going to make it, and then we could be good. We'll be all right. Realize it's the sisterhood Christian daughters. But they can't be mothers. They can be sisters all day. But the mother is the Asiatic woman. Did you ever stop to think that women and men are already married by the supreme law of nature, and that a marriage license is an act of violation of the law of nature, the natural law union between women and men spells love, and the reproduction of a child in which marriage license plays no part in. So when you talk about obligations and oaths and all this, in marriage, that has nothing to do with children. That's absolutely irrelevant. Because the union of the man and woman created that. There's no marriage license involved in having children. Which is why they have the certificate in that, which is a license. License for you to give birth. There's a birth certificate. Just call it certificate so you don't figure out that it's a license. These people are playing you. Definitely, there cannot be any illegitimate children, offspring from women and men, because woman is the supreme gate of creation of both male and female children by the law of nature, which spells Islam, I self-law master, the carpenter, and the grand architecture of the human family. Adam means the positive forces in women and sons responsible for evolution or the reproduction of children by the law of nature. The Pope, priests, the preacher, and judges of the Christian society definitely cannot prove that their Adam and Eve had a marriage license. Did you ever stop to think that the marriage license code is an act of selling women and men back to themselves? The Magna Carta, the Union Magna Carta Marriage License Code, unfortunately and unconsciously caused the quote-unquote white woman to be cut off from the human family, Moorish nation. In other words, the quote-unquote white women are supreme social slaves against their will and desire. This has caused them to carry in their mind and heart a secret sorrow and anger, which causes their children to inherit a tendency of crime, hatred, insanity, and various other diseases. And then you see how they flip that. You see how they flip that. And now they have that on us. That the Asiatic woman now is the one full of sorrow and anger, which causes the children that she brings here to inherit tendencies of hatred, insanity, HHRD, and RRCQ, and all this other stuff that you thought, oh, they're born that way. No, because of your trauma is why they're born that way. And it was all part of the Magna Carta marriage license order to have you in this suppressed state, talking about he loves me and all this stuff when that ain't even what's going on. You're feeding off your trauma because your dad or something like that, your brother or something. This is why there's Noble Drew Ali as a reference that you can go back and say, oh, so this is what CMB saw. This is the vision that he saw after getting all the lessons from Drew Ali. He opened up to this place of presenting certain things that are critical to our not falling back into the BS that these people started after Drew Ali. They did a number on you. Supreme standard of the Zodiac marriage law culture. Here are the elements of the sign of the Zodiac and the women and men's opposite signs involving the first marriage of the Zodiac law of nature. No preacher and money and license and neither religion is necessary in the standard Zodiac marriage law. 1. Aries is fire, Libra air. Taurus is earth, Scorpio water. Gemini is air, Sagittarius fire. Cancer is water, Capricorn is earth. Leo is fire, Aquarius is air. Virgo is earth, Pisces is water. In 1863, Union Bible story of Eve and Adam were founded upon the Zodiac, the Moorish Zodiac 12 signs law, the negative and positive forces of nature, female and male. In harmony with nature, Aries is fire, Gemini is air, Leo is fire and Libra is air, Sagittarius is fire and Aquarius is air. Persons born under the opposite signs and the angle signs are in harmony with one another in every manner. Thus, first-hand knowledge of the sign under which you and your mate were born will guide your destiny in peace, progress, and happiness forever. A lot of Grand Sheiks didn't tell you this part. When they're playing little temple games after Noble Drew Ali got assassinated. How come they didn't bring all this up? Let us remember that this is not a theory. The Zodiac is the absolute universal standard of marriage and human guidance. Woman and man will know their duty toward one another and their children without being forced by the traditional code for the courtroom. So immediately, go check your mate or whatever if you haven't done that. Go check their natal chart. Go check how they're relative to the Zodiac. Right? Check how they're relative to the Zodiac. And how that is connected to you. And then all their inconsistencies and all that stuff. Now you know how to deal with it, what to do, and, they're going to have to fess up. But then the other side, now they got to do yours, and you got some stuff that, you got a little stuff that you don't do that she's going to be able to check you for too. But it's all for peace, progress, and happiness forever. That's what we're looking. That's what we're moving towards. That's what we want. Right. Article 6. The one and only universal moral law for unity, peace, and economic and social progress. Keep in mind, this is a constitution. The Moorish Zodiac Constitution is the only universal, unchanged moral law for the human family, for unity, human equality, respect, peace, and economic and social progress. Therefore, every Moor, the Bays and L's, must be guided by this constitution and book clock of destiny. Do that which is right by reason and have respect for the quote-unquote white lawmakers and citizens of the Magna Carta Union Society of the 50 states in order to demand respect from them. Therefore, every Moor, the Bays and the L's, because remember, they gave up their stuff and agreed that, okay, fine, it's going to be the Moors' time right now. So now that we're back in power, just like Drew Ali said, when you get on top, treat the European nice. Don't play the same stuff that your forefathers played. You got some power over them and you do what you want or whatever. Don't violate their stuff either. On top of your stuff. On top of not violating your constitution, don't violate theirs, even though that's not yours. If they still got some codes and whatever like that, be law abiding. You know, Drew Ali registered his stuff in the county and all that stuff. I mean, obviously, he had a chauffeur and all that stuff. Like, just following something. Then we're just riding reckless. Doing donuts in the middle of the thing just because we're Moors. Because remember, having respect for their stuff would allow you to be able to order and demand respect from them. Because they can't say you violated anything. But they're going to say you violated. If they go up, we got you on a DUI from 55 years ago. Then they got you. You can play the back and forth game. AKA court. You know, the net, and then you go back and forth. And the quote-unquote white people of the Union are guided by their Magna Carta traditions and customs, and the Moors are guided by the Zodiac Constitution law. Nevertheless, their customs and traditions, including themselves, must be respected by Moors without submitting themselves to any of the Magna Carta customs. That which is termed the Christian law is a rule of action recorded on paper and supported by authority and force. The Zodiac law of nature is recorded in the wisdom of women and men and supported by moral intelligence, the greatest law. And again, that's going back to additional laws and Drew Ali telling these Moors that go to Sunday school because, you know, you got to use your own common sense. You got senses? I suggest you use those. These people are about to sell you out. You don't even know it. I'm giving you all the keys. I'm giving you everything it takes to save a nation. Take it and save yourself. Because all these grand sheiks, whoever, they're about to sell you out. I'm out of here. The Zodiac law of nature is recorded in the wisdom of women and men. You're looking for a book of something. Is there a book on the way the moorish whatever? No, it's you. You're the book. All these shelves of books is for inspiration. That's all. None of them is it. You're it. You're the law of nature, manifested in the flesh. And your wisdom is going to be supported by the moral intelligence. Because only with moral intelligence are you going to really say that you're a Moor and be what you are. You're not going to do that if you have moral intelligence. You're going to be telling people packages and all that stuff. And then that should be a sign to let you know, oh, these people don't have moral, they got fiat intelligence. They'll show you how to flip 400 into $5,000, but tell them how to, circle their passions. I bet they don't know. Bet you their passions running like a wild banshee. But they know that package though. Knowledge of the Zodiac masonry is shown in this Moorish constitution and also in my book, Clock of Destiny, Volume 1 and 2, will prevent a Moorish American, he or she, from indulging in crime. They then would not have to appear in the courtroom to stand trial. Should a Moorish American who has this constitution and Book 1 and 2 indulge in crime such as narcotics, robbery, forgery, prostitution, illegal whiskey or alcohol, illegal schemes, selling packages, gambling, peace breaking, violence, and disrespect for the law of the city, country, state, and federal, they have incriminated themselves and therefore will be penalized. This Constitution card and book definitely does not protect criminals. Beware. The Clock of Destiny Moorish American Card of Identification and Constitution has been registered in the Library of Congress and signed by the author C.M. Bay. A Moorish American cannot be convicted on false accusations of frame-up charges. The evidence against a Moorish American must be concrete proof beyond a shadow of a doubt. The Moorish nation of 150 million, 1951, of the USA shall not be destroyed for lack of truth and knowledge of the Zodiac and Constitution of the Moors. Wasn't Moorish militia a false accusation and frame-up charge? Wasn't it? Wasn't the evidence against those Moorish Americans not concrete proof beyond a shadow of a doubt? They're violating the national constitution for the corpse, and they're violating the Zodiac constitution. And they're calling people terrorists. And you know, if you have a constitution and you violate, you know that's treason, right? Oh, okay. Oh, but you know, too many of our people want to be black. They want to be all this conscious BS instead of being who they are, Moors. So here we are, you know, just try to put you on some game. Two people in the back there who's not zombies yet. You guys just playing like they're zombies walking around just not to get bit. Just pretending. As soon as you see the fez, you know, don't run up too fast because, you know, you might be a zombie. Don't run up too fast. But you already know what the signal is. You know, fez, turban, whatever like that. You know, even if it's a dirty Moor, at least you're not a zombie anymore. Now you're in trouble. From better to worse. Might as well stay a zombie. The evidence against a Moorish American must be concrete. If there's no injured party, is that concrete? If nobody said, ouch, that guy, that lady, touched me with their fingertip and broke my shoulder. Can you show us where they touch you? But if there's no injured party, how are they carrying on with stuff if there's no injured party? Oh yeah, because all these people want to be Negroes. They don't know the law. They don't have moral intelligence. They're zombies. They're zombies. Article 7. The Moorish Americans' freedom and legal in the Christian Union courtroom. In the Christian Union courtroom, the Moors cannot be forced to remove their red fez from their heads, nor can they be forced to raise their hand and take an oath over the Christian Bible. Neither can Moors, the Bays and L's, employ quote-unquote white or quote-unquote Negro lawyers to represent them. The reason for this is that the quote-unquote white people and their Negro slaves definitely cannot represent free Moorish Americans. The Negro is the property of the Union slaveholders. The Moors must respect the court by saying, "I affirm." Here, the court has no jurisdiction over them, which automatically makes them qualified to defend themselves by their Zodiac Constitution law and their mathematical number 9. The number 9 corresponds to the letter I based on the 9 months of conception to birth, which makes you yourself the great I am, the first and highest law of self. Protection and self-preservation in harmony with your Zodiac 12 signs unchanged constitutional moral law of 360 degrees squared by your number 9. The Moorish Zodiac Constitution is referred to in Christian mythology as the Holy Quran or Al-Quran, meaning the earth, the moon, the sun, and the 7 planets, or the chronology zodiac record of the Moorish nation of the North Gate, North America. The name Muhammad, prophet, religion, God, church, temple, and mosque were established by the Dutch Anglo-Saxon priesthood Francian fathers of the North, who overthrew the Moorish Society of Islam between 1789 and the Union of 1873. All those Moors telling you that Drew Ali told you to honor Muhammad and all that stuff, so that means we have to follow Prophet Muhammad. Keep in mind, the name Muhammad, prophet, religion, God, church, temple, mosque were established by the Dutch Anglo-Saxon priesthood Franciscan fathers of the North, who overthrew the Moorish Society of Islam between 1789 and the Union of 1863. The Moors, the Bays and L's, must never attempt to teach or lecture in the Christian institution, namely church, temple, mosque, school, and hall. This is a violation of the Union Society's state right to Magna Carta Code of Mary and Christ. The truth of the Moorish Zodiac Constitution law and moral human principles definitely conflicts with the Christian Union customs and doctrine of the Magna Carta from every angle. Nor do not criticize the quote-unquote white people's belief in the religion of their sun and woman image. Nor do not ever attempt to influence the quote-unquote white people to accept the oral truth and principles of your 12 Zodiac's constitutional law, because the Magna Carta is a Latin phrase meaning magnet charta of quote-unquote white people's economic and social attraction only, which had its beginning in the colonies of Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, and Illinois in 1848 and 1854. If the lawmakers of the 50 Union State Society of North America should attempt to ignore the Moorish Americans' Zodiac law and birthrights of this Constitution, it would be an act of supreme violation of their own Magna Carta Code. These people are violating their own law. They're violating their own law. And keep in mind, we're talking about sovereignty. And we just stopped at the possession of sovereign power supreme political authority, paramount control of the constitution and frame of government and its administration. That was it. Right? And then Zodiac Constitution is one reference point of that part that says Constitution. You could do that exact same thing. You could do that exact same thing with the divine constitution and bylaws. You could do the exact same thing. Sit there for an hour going through the 7 and seeing how it's relative to sovereignty as Moors. And how is it could we say that we got sovereignty? Right.
Well, let me back up my claim that Noble Drew Ali didn't establish the Moorish government. This is the 101s for Moorish Americans. Moorish Americans. Our authority. Book 521. So your authority is on book 521 on page 579, State of Illinois, Cook County. Number 10105905. All right, so this instrument was placed in Cook County, a subsidiary of State of Illinois, and a subsidiary of the United States. It was said that Noble Drew Ali was at the Pan American Conference. Why wouldn't he just deposit his sovereign instrument there instead of in a corporate citizen's trust? It's also been said that Noble Drew Ali met Woodrow Wilson and was told to get the flag, put the star on it. And then Woodrow Wilson called the Queen. Why did neither one of those head of states issue a proclamation saying that Noble Drew Ali was the head of state of the Moorish government? You telling me that they told him to go deposit or go fill out the application in your county to register your authority? Just continue. Corporation, not unincorporated. It says corporation, religious affidavit of organization, form number 1009. So again, this is an application. So
again, the fake are authorities. The fake are authorities, right? The fake are authorities are going to tell you, see Herds Revised Statute, chapter 3236, asterisks or appointed, asterisks or wardens, vestrymen, or whatever name they may adopt. For our government. We adopted Grand Governor, Grand Sheikh, Grand Secretary, Grand Mufti, all that stuff. We adopted Supreme Grand Council and per capita tax and all that stuff. We adopted all of that into our governmental practices as Moorish Americans. This is in the 20s when Drew Ali was around. Now, they always want to debate Moors and stuff about doing, where's the Moorish government? And whatever like that. But they never look at some critical things. They never look at some critical things. Now, they're going to always go to our authority and start talking about corporations and see it's registered and whatever like that. But they never go to what's inside it. They always go to this back cover thing because that says our authority. That means something like that. Now, when you go inside of it, it asks you a question about what is his nationality and what is your nationality. When you look up nationality, nationality is that quality or character which arises from the fact of a person belonging to a nation or state. Now, if somebody's belonging to a nation or state, they're going to have their own government, wouldn't they? They're not going to call themselves nation or state and then not have their own government. Obviously, they'll be governing themselves if they claim that they have a nationality. They're going to have some type of law that they're supposed to follow, right? So if that's the case, then there's no way that anyone could say that Moors aren't their own government, because Noble Ali told us that this is about nationality. And if we have a nationality, then we have a state. If we have a nationality, then we are part of a nation if we have a nationality. We can't make those up. Drawley asks these Moors, what kind of flag is the Moorish? It's a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. What do the 5 points represent? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. How old is our flag? It is over 10,000 years old. 10,000 years old. You just go to Britannica. You gotta go far. A flag. A piece of cloth, bunting, or similar material displaying the insignia of a sovereign state, a community, an organization. We're sorry, this content is not available. Right? What more do you want? You need more than that? You can't need more than that. You need more than that? You really need more than that? If you need more than that, you got issues. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Because if you need more than that, then there's really no help. Honors to all the Moors. We're signing off. We'll be stacked up here, whatever you're supposed to stack up, and pull the plug on this thing. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the mothers. Happy Mother's Day once again. Happy Mother's Day for all the mothers. Honors to all the Moors. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. You already know, Drew Ali's the man. Set the standard. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace and love to all the Moors. Islam.